Welcome to Knowledge Hub. Please subscribe and hit the bell icon for more breaking updates. Hey everyone, it's KH. Imagine your neighbor, who you've shared everything with, suddenly invites new friends to a party, and you're not on the list. That's what's happening between the US and Canada. Canada just announced new trade partners, excluding the US. This could mean new tariffs and competition for American brands. Let's dive into the impact on 7 major US brands. First up, Ford. For over a century, Ford has been a symbol of American innovation and resilience, shaping not just the auto industry, but the very idea of mobility itself. An American icon, Ford's success relies on a seamless US-Canada supply chain. Every day, thousands of parts and components flow back and forth across the border, connecting factories, workers, and communities on both sides. In fact, parts cross the border multiple times before finally becoming a finished vehicle. This intricate dance is what keeps production lines moving and showrooms stocked. But if Canada starts favoring parts from Germany or Japan, Ford's costs could rise sharply. Sourcing from farther away means higher shipping fees, longer wait times, and more uncertainty for the company. Canada is a huge market for Ford vehicles. Millions of Canadians rely on Ford trucks and cars for work, family, and daily life. New trade deals could make foreign cars cheaper, increasing competition. Suddenly, Ford faces rivals not just from Detroit, but from Tokyo, Berlin, and beyond. Any border disruption could slow production, impacting American jobs. Delays at customs or new tariffs could mean empty factories and anxious workers. Ford's North American strategy might need a costly overhaul. Rethinking supply chains, renegotiating contracts, and adapting to new rules could take years and billions of dollars. This isn't just about selling cars, it's about the entire ecosystem, suppliers, dealerships, repair shops, and the families who depend on them. A shift in trade dynamics could threaten Ford's foundation, shaking the company to its core, and putting thousands of livelihoods at risk. It's a classic example of distant political news hitting home, with real consequences for everyday people. Ford's empire relies on a seamless North American market, where borders are open and goods move freely. If that cracks, the whole structure is at risk. The ripple effects could be felt far beyond the factory floor. It's a potential seismic shift for Ford, and for the future of North American manufacturing as a whole. Next up, we have General Electric, or GE, a true cross-border powerhouse with a legacy that stretches back over a century. GE is a global giant, manufacturing everything from advanced jet engines that power commercial airliners to massive turbines that keep cities running. The company's success is deeply tied to smooth relations between the US and Canada, as their supply chains and business operations cross borders every day. In fact, GE's aviation division relies heavily on Canadian partners for critical components, making collaboration essential for innovation and timely delivery. But as new trade deals emerge, there's a risk that European companies could gain an edge, potentially sidelining GE in key markets. The renewable energy sector is another battleground, where GE faces growing competition from international players, especially as countries seek cleaner power sources. Canadian wind farms, for example, might be tempted to choose more affordable European turbines, putting pressure on GE's market share. GE's reach extends into sectors that are vital to national infrastructure, from power grids to industrial automation, making its role even more significant. Any changes in trade policy can have far-reaching, long-term strategic implications for how GE plans and invests for the future. For instance, a Canadian power plant might now consider international bidders over GE, shifting the competitive landscape. For GE, new trade barriers don't just complicate planning, they can directly impact profits and shareholder confidence. The company's business model is built on efficiency, scale, and a seamless global supply chain, all of which are threatened by uncertainty. As Canada pivots its trade strategy, GE faces a new era of unpredictability, forcing the company to rethink its approach. This uncertainty can delay major investments, slow down hiring, and ultimately impact American workers who depend on GE's success. With sprawling operations and a global footprint, GE now faces one of its most complex challenges yet: navigating a rapidly changing international landscape. Let's talk about Boeing. Their partnership with Canada's aerospace industry is crucial. Canadian companies supply critical Boeing parts. New trade deals could make Airbus more attractive to Canadian firms. Boeing can't easily switch suppliers for specialized components. Production delays or higher costs could result. Air Canada, a major Boeing customer, might consider Airbus. Favorable trade deals could tip the scales in Airbus's favor. The stakes are high. A single plane order secures jobs for years. Losing market share in Canada is a major blow for Boeing. It threatens their production schedules and American workforce. Coca-Cola, an American icon, faces challenges in Canada. Their distribution network relies on smooth cross-border operations. New trade friction adds time and cost, impacting millions of cases. Ingredient sourcing could be disrupted by new trade deals. Cheaper imports might force Coca-Cola to change suppliers. Bottling plants in Canada depend on affordable sourcing. New competitors could enter the Canadian market with minimal tariffs. Coke's market share is threatened by cheaper alternatives. They've spent billions to dominate the market. Canada's trade shift introduces new costs and competitors. Even for a global giant, local trade rules matter immensely. Coca-Cola must navigate these changes to maintain dominance. It's a reminder of the importance of stable trade environments. Procter & Gamble, or P&G, is in your home right now. Canada is a massive market for their consumer goods. P&G relies on open borders for efficient product movement. New tariffs could force them to raise prices or absorb costs. European competitors might gain a cost advantage in Canada. Canadian shoppers could choose cheaper alternatives. P&G's Canadian manufacturing relies on U.S. raw materials. Trade barriers complicate their supply lines and threaten jobs. P&G must defend their market position against new competition. Canada's trade pivot challenges their North American dominance. It's a battle for the shopping cart, and it could get expensive. P&G's century-long dominance is at risk. They must adapt to maintain their position in Canadian households. McDonald's, a global symbol of American business, faces challenges in Canada. Their supply chain depends on efficient cross-border operations. New trade barriers increase costs for Canadian franchises. McDonald's might need to find new suppliers, altering consistency. The fast food market is competitive, and price increases hurt. New trade deals could allow international chains to expand in Canada. Canadian franchisees face direct hits to their margins. It's a grassroots problem starting with international policy. The Golden Arches might look the same, but face a serious squeeze. McDonald's must navigate these changes to maintain their market position. Consistency is king, and supply chain disruptions are the enemy. The fast food giant must adapt to new trade dynamics. Walmart, the retail behemoth, faces a new era of challenges in Canada, where the landscape is shifting faster than ever before. Once seen as an unstoppable force, Walmart now finds itself at a crossroads, with its dominance being tested by both local and global changes. Their business model has long relied on a vast, intricate global supply chain to deliver low prices to millions of Canadians. This network, built over decades, is the backbone of Walmart's promise to its customers. But now, new international trade deals and shifting tariffs could erode Walmart's core advantage, making it harder to keep prices as low as before. Canadian competitors like Loblaws and Sobeys are seizing the opportunity, exploring new partnerships, and sourcing goods more cheaply from emerging markets and alternative suppliers. For Walmart, this means facing not only potential new costs and logistical complexities, but also the risk of falling behind in a rapidly evolving market. The company must now constantly reevaluate sourcing strategies for thousands of products, balancing quality, cost, and speed to market. Sticking with traditional U.S. suppliers could mean higher prices, risking Walmart's reputation for value and making it harder to compete on price with nimble Canadian rivals. If competitors are able to match or even undercut Walmart's prices, the company's core value proposition could be seriously undermined. A full-blown price war could erupt, squeezing profits across the sector and forcing Walmart to rethink its entire Canadian strategy. To maintain their dominance, Walmart's leadership must adapt quickly, making bold decisions and investing in innovation to stay ahead. Their iconic brand promise of always low prices is now under threat, as customers become more price-sensitive and aware of alternatives. New trade dynamics and shifting supply routes are challenging Walmart's North American strategy, forcing the company to rethink how it operates on both sides of the border. Navigating these monumental changes will require vision, agility, and a willingness to embrace new ways of doing business if Walmart hopes to remain Canada's retail leader. From cars to burgers, the trade shift's ripple effects are massive. US brands face uncertain futures with Canada's new trade partners. This change redefines a century-old North American business relationship. Companies face new costs, competitors, and headaches. The outcome will affect jobs and prices on both sides of the border.